Every day I had to get up and I had to get ready to leave my kids with their nana and go to work for a company that was no longer feeling like the right fit for me. I felt just awful about the whole situation. And it didn't matter what else was going right in my life, that I had finally had the kids that I had tried for 3 years. Something was still feeling incredibly off. You might know what this feels like. To me, it felt like overwhelm. It felt like soul sucking. It felt like life was just harder than it needed to be. And I constantly felt like I was never in the right place doing the right thing. I didn't feel fulfilled, and my heart was aching for something more. If you don't know who I am, my name is Amy, and I am a health and wellness mentor for women. I help women become the happiest and healthiest version of themselves so that they can chase their dreams and start building their dream lives too. What I didn't know at the time was I was not in alignment. And I had maybe heard the word alignment, but I didn't truly understand what it meant. And I thought alignment was only for the gurus, for those people who had done all of the spiritual woo-woo stuff. They were the ones that got to sit in the grass and meditate while the birds chirped and the grass didn't make them itch and they didn't worry about the bugs crawling on them because they were just like completely in alignment. That's what I thought alignment was. I didn't think it was ever something that would really be in my life. I didn't think it was an option for me. I thought we were supposed to grind. I thought life was supposed to feel really hard. When I was going to work every day, leaving my kids with my nana, I wanted to just quit. And that wasn't an option because I had built a life with my husband that needed 2 good paychecks. We had a big house. We had 2 expensive cars. We had nice things. We had this standard of living that needed 2 incomes. I couldn't just quit. So after spending 16 years of my life essentially trying to become this version that fit the mold of my employer, that fit the mold of society, I found myself trapped in that mold. And so even though it didn't feel right, I was stuck there. I couldn't see a way out. And so I kept going in it. As dissatisfied as I was, being a stay-at-home mom, being with my kids was not an option. I think this is true for a lot of us. I think so many of us have this idea of who we're supposed to be, and we build a life plan around other people's expectations of us, of who other people think we should be, and we don't think about who we need ourselves to be. And so I continue to live in this life. Welcome to the end of 2019. I stumbled upon Mel Robbins and I read her first book and I was like, this is amazing. And so I followed her and she did something at the start of 2020 called The Best Decade Ever. And it was a little workbook with some videos that you went through and it really asked you what you wanted from this world. What are your passions? Who do you want to be? What are your values? What is important to you? What lights you up? And this little workbook gave me permission to dream outside the box that I had built for myself. It allowed me to ask myself on this really authentic level, who did I want to be in this world? How did I want to show up? And how did I want to help people? I remember running down the stairs to my husband and looking at him saying, I know what I want to be when I grow up. And he's like, what's that? And I'm like, I want to be Mel Robbins. Well, not Mel Robbins, but someone like Mel Robbins. I want to help women change their lives. I want to empower women and support them in becoming the best versions of themselves. And my husband's like, okay, you can do that. And he supported me from day one. And I started figuring out how to do that. So now I had this dream and this desire and this passion to learn how to become this person. And my husband stood behind me. I got trained in life coaching and I started to build a business. I found a business coach to support me in understanding how to do that because I had never done it before. I got a business license. And then I took a pivot into nutrition because after 3 years of infertility, I was really passionate about the power of nutrition in fertility. I went back to school for nutrition, and I started to take action. And the possibility of leaving my corporate job started to become a reality. I was already feeling more fulfilled with the work that I was doing with my clients. And so I knew that the right thing for me to do was to keep going. I knew I was on the right path, and I needed to build a business that would allow me to leave my 9-to-5. So here I am on my path to alignment, and I still have actually zero idea what alignment is. I know that my life is feeling better, that I'm feeling hopeful, and that I'm starting to feel fulfilled. But I didn't realize that those are actually the feelings that you have when you're moving into alignment. Quite simply, if we want to think of alignment as joy, as contentment, as satisfaction, when we look at our life, do we have more things that fill our cup than empty our cup? That is all alignment is. It is not about anything like spiritual or woo-woo, kind of for some people, if that's what fills your cup or drains your cup. But it really is just about looking at our lives and asking ourselves, is my cup draining faster than it's filling? And how do I change that? How do I start creating a situation where my cup fills faster than it comes down, right? I wanted to be a mom for 3 years. I love being a mom. It fills my cup. And part of being a mom also drains my cup. Worrying about my kids, planning and making lunches and changing diapers, those sort of things, cleaning up after them all the time. Those can be things that drain my cup. But the hugs that I get, the conversations, the laughter, all of those things fill my cup faster. And this can be the same with a career. There can be things in your job that fill your cup. For me, I worked in corporate for a long time. I was in corporate leadership. And the things that filled my cup in that job were coaching, helping my managers that worked for me and their employees become the best version of themselves, pulling out the leadership qualities and nurturing them, helping them learn organization and prioritizing skills. Like, these were the things that made me feel amazing, helping them find their confidence and their stride in their own leadership and their own abilities. That was so cool to me. But then there were the things that emptied my cup, the misaligned values, the communication that wasn't my style. I don't need to get into it, honestly, but there was more at the end in that job that drained my cup than filled it. And it was having a trickle over effect into my whole satisfaction in my life, my whole ability to feel aligned and joyful and happy in my life. So if you're somebody who is also feeling like their cup is draining faster than it is filling, the first thing that you need to really do is ask yourself some very real questions. Number one, you need to understand your values. What's important to you? What do you believe is right? What do you believe is wrong? You, not society, nobody. Values come down to you. What are the most important things in your life? When I look at my own value structure, family, health, happiness, safety, those are things that are so important to me. Stability, I'm a Taurus, like I need things to be stable. Personal development is also super important to me and one of my values. The ability to have a growth mindset is something I hugely value in myself and help to nurture in my children because it's important and I believe it will help them be successful and happy for the rest of their life. The second thing I needed to figure out were what were the things that did fill my cup? What were the things that made me feel happy? What were the things that I was passionate about talking about? Like, if I had a friend who would let me go off on a tangent, what would that tangent be about? What would be that soapbox that you keep getting on that people sometimes will roll their eyes at because they're like, oh, here she goes again, talking about nutrition, talking about mindset, there she goes. What are the things that you are the most excited about in this world? And the third thing you need to ask yourself is, what needs to change in order for me to do more of the things that fill my cup? If it's going on more vacations, like if vacations are the thing that fill your cup and let you feel centered and grounded for the next 2 or 3 months or 6 months, whatever that is, and that's important to you, how do you make sure that happens? I have a value of health. Lots of us, I think, do have a value around health. And so I have to ask myself, what can I do day to day that lets me live in alignment with that value of health? What habits do I need to change in my life so I can align with my values? When we choose not to honor our values, when we choose not to embrace our passions and find ways to bring those things into our life, we are pushing alignment away. We are aligning with something that is not us. And that is going to leave you continuing to feel dissatisfied, uncomfortable, and overwhelmed in your life. So we have to get to this place where we can be really honest with ourselves and ask, what needs to change in order for me to live in an aligned life? And with me, nutrition was a big piece of that. And it took me a long time to get to a place where I could live in alignment with what it means to take care of my health, to be healthy. I had to work through mindset. I had to release habits. I had to let go of beliefs that I've had for years and years to come about my worthiness and what I deserved in this world. And I had to do a lot of work in order to get to this place where I could put my values, my passions at the forefront of my actions. Instead of people pleasing and doing what other people expected of me, I had to root myself in my own value and deservance of a life that I love to live. That can be really triggering for people to hear other people say, I deserve to live my dream life, because many people struggle to say that or believe that. And for a long time, I thought the best life that I could live was the one that fit the mold. I just couldn't be happy there. I couldn't stay there. It didn't matter how nice my house was or how big and fancy my car payments were. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what purse I was using. Those things did not bring me alignment. They didn't bring me happiness at a soul level. They gave me this surface level happiness. I fit into society because I would show up with the right person, the right shoes, and the right car, whatever. I was proud to bring people over to my house. But at the end of the day, I wasn't happy. I was still struggling because monetary things do not equal alignment. Yeah, they're great things to have, but I am happier now learning how to build a business around my passions, around the things that I value, nutrition, mindset, personal growth. That makes me feel so much more whole than the money ever did. Of course, as somebody who values safety and stability, money is important and it does matter. And I'm trusting that as I live in alignment with what's important to me, all of those things will come back into balance. But I wouldn't trade the feeling of being trapped in the life that I had built for any amount of money. If you're somebody who has a value in health and a value in personal growth and development, and you are ready to start thinking about your dream life, maybe planning for your dream life and building a foundation of health and wellness that you can start to build your dream life on, then book a discovery call with me. The link is going to be down in the video description. I would love to chat with you how I can support you in bringing your dream life into reality.